Namaste everyone, I'm Aishwarya here. Welcome to AMA podcast. I have an opportunity to talk to my guru around environment, sustainability, sustainable economy and so much more, and of course, happiness of the country. So welcoming Kartikeya Sarabhai, who has actually revolutionized the green culture, economy, education, environmental education, everything around the globe since more than a decade. So welcoming Kartikeya Sarabhai, sir.
Thank you.
Yes. So I think your life has been filled of contradictions as well, like the way your mother was into a cultural profession, wherein your father side were more driven towards science. So how did you balance that?
There was no contradiction. They each had their own potential, but both them and the family deeply concerned about India
Right.
development and globally also. One used it through her art. There are some very outstanding performances which actually deals with, for instance, issues like Silent Valley and others. My father saw space also as one of the strong tools for development, and that's how India's space program developed very differently. My own interest started in development when I was studying still at Cambridge, and at that time I was doing physics,
Okay.
and I
Oh,
wanted to shift to a development side because I saw myself getting involved in it,
right,
and so there was not a contradiction. It was really taking that same spirit
right.
but
The
doing one.
common goal was India and growth of the
India
country.
and development, and
Right.
I sort of found environment as it went along, but it didn't start with environment
Right.
at that stage. It started more with looking at developmental issues.
Right. So any incident that made you closer to environment, or how do you pick that okay, this is something that I really want to work on?
Well, the first thing was how did I really get started getting involved in development,
Right.
and at that time the London Times used to run a series of articles called India's Disintegrating Democracy. Now, it would just bother me that India's democracy is not going to disintegrate when the British left.
Correct.
But I didn't have the words for it. I didn't know why they were wrong. So I started getting interested in that. There was the drought in Bihar, very severe. It was the last, perhaps, major one. And so when the summer when I came back, I said I'll spend a month there, going around in real heat in ST buses and having jamun and things
Wow.
to keep, but one saw the tremendous power people in India had of not even waiting for government, especially in Gujarat, of actually doing things and doing action. So at that time, I discussed with my father. I said, I don't see myself then doing physics more. He said, finish the physics degree because it's such a great foundation. Then I went on to do development studies at MIT. When I came back, our son was very small, Mohal, who is connected
Right.
to the MA. And in America, I was interested in planes. And we were on a path, we could see these planes fly, and he knew the names of every one of them. In India, of course, it was a very boring habit because at that time there was only the Dakota and one of the other planes. So he started asking questions about birds. I didn't know much about the birds. And then at Community Science Center, we were sitting, and someone said there's this man called Salim Ali, and he's done this bird book. And we went to the book fair at Sanskar Kendra those days, and the book was out of print. So I'm very curious if it's out of print. So every time I'd go, and we got the bird book. And in those initial days, we used to only know the birds by the page number, with the long name. That's page 41.
Yes, yeah.
So it started getting interested in environment. But during that whole period, one started understanding more and more how development and environmental protection were really intermingled and were the same thing ultimately. It was not something which was widely understood. And in fact, when I started working on the environment, people felt that you were doing something so fringe, so outside. In fact,
You would be ahead of time, right? I mean,
it was way ahead of the time
Yeah.
because we're talking about the early 70s.
Right.
So we're talking about 50 years ago. So when we started, I met then Salim Ali, whose book I read. I met and saw him in Jasdan. We met Romulus Whittaker, who was looking at snakes, and then eventually started Sundarvan, which became a snake park and everything else. Started working on issues of urban growth, and the initial use of the word environment I used was to mean the man-made environment. I was not even talking about nature. I was saying
Interesting, right.
people were interested in knowing that what makes some cities unsafe for women. And at that time, Ahmedabad was even safer. It's even
Correct,
now safe.
yeah.
You feel free to go on a scooter on your own, everything else. So what makes it there? And what is the relationship between a building plan and the way a building city is structured and the quality of life? So that was the connection. And then the connection came up with nature. And the Thaltej Tekra, where we are now located, was a completely barren hill.
Yeah.
And around it was also fields. Nothing would grow because people would come. And we started growing trees there and made a little pact with our neighbors who are Maldaris that you can come and have water, but don't bring your cattle in. And they immediately stopped. And one saw the rejuvenation which could happen. And that then became a programmatic activity.
It got structured. Yeah.
It sort of, so those are the events which sort of finally
Right.
led my interest in development first, and then the interest in environment, and then how they came together
Right.
in
But
this.
sir, like you said, you were always ahead of time. So were you scared? Because I think a lot of times youth especially, they have so many ideas and they want to change the world. But then of course people sort of say that you are ahead of time, you can't do this, it's stupid and stuff like that. So how did you make sure that your mind is not going towards it? Or what kept you going?
Well, one realized what one was doing was different. In fact, I remember one of my senior colleagues, who later became a senior colleague, being introduced, and these people next door were the Sardar Patel Institute of Economics. So they came and they didn't know how to describe what we were doing.
Yeah.
So they said, we've got, you are doing odd things, and we've got an odd friend who's teaching in Bombay, so maybe he should come and work with you.
Right.
But the word odd meant, they didn't say it negatively, but they meant odd meaning you're doing some strange,
Some weird stuff,
different
yeah.
things. And how do you do it? So that whole interest in things started. But initially, I had, and of course, my father had stated some things that through the institute we would like people involved in development. And development was never really a French thing, but what we spoke about was something quite different from what everyone spoke about. And it basically came from the lens which you see it. For instance, one of the early meetings we had was under the peepal tree there. And Ila Ben at that time was not so established as Seva. So she said, Kartikeya, how do we get, because these women at Manik Chowk were selling fruits and vegetables. And the police were asking them to go away. So I said, let's have it. And she said, okay, because of your name, maybe they will come. So we had the meeting, and the municipal commissioner came, police commissioner came, some high authorities, sitting under a tree, and we had this sort of keynote being delivered by 3 Toplawali women.
Wow.
And basically what they say is, look, we are living in this independent India.
Yeah.
We have, you don't give us a house, you don't give us anything else. All we want is a 3 feet by 2 feet space
Right.
to earn a living. And you mean to say Ahmedabad can't even give us that? And that perspective. So I remember that time the police commissioner
It's
came
so
and
amazing.
police commissioner said that, Kartikeya, if you had this meeting in my room, I would have given you a cup of tea and politely heard you and then
Yeah.
forgotten about it. But somehow sitting in that atmosphere, sitting under the nature, you said that maybe what they're saying is right. That why should a street
Correct.
be only for vehicles? Why is it not a place to earn? So then the parliament, some years later, changed that. Ahmedabad made that in the daytime, that street in Manik Chowk was made only pedestrian, and a solution was found. But it gave us great confidence that there is a different way of looking at the same issue.
Right.
If I look upon it only as something to have my vehicles go
Right.
by, then the Topla Valley becomes a nuisance. But if I say that, look, this is a space where people also have to earn in a city, they're saying we are not creating riots, we are not doing anything. Why can't we do this?
Right.
Live with dignity. And if dignity of citizens is also put part of the citizen, it becomes different. So that's what we've been doing all these years. We basically, even the environmental issues are not so complex. It's a matter of perspective. That if you look upon just short term, some solutions look better. If you say that, look, I want to look at long term, very different solutions emerge. Because otherwise, you're paying a price in the environment which is not part of your equation.
Absolutely. I think you started CWE when nothing was, there in the city as well. So any particular project that is deeply, emotional for you in that space?
Um, I would say most projects which I do
Of course, yeah.
are emotional
Right,
because it is driven by passion.
right.
And I do, when we recruit people also, people say, how come you recruited that person and not this? And it's very difficult to explain
Right.
because I said, look, I found something that person said which shows an emotion or shows a passion.
Yeah.
Otherwise, mechanically, everyone might be the same, but this person has something, some spark in it. So there are passions. Teaching children is certainly a passion
Right.
to see. Therefore, I was just telling you
Yeah, I
downstairs
was
that
just
we
going to
just
mention,
finished
yes.
a textbook
Yeah.
for the 5th grade for NCRT, and
This is a
that's
huge
thing.
historical
And
thing, I
it was
would
so
say.
wonderful to do it
Yeah.
because it meant that you could imagine all your times when you talk to children,
Right.
how there's such a fascination around which you can bring to children,
Yeah.
and how you interpret it. You haven't got an opportunity to do that. And I think India is so vibrant, and there's just so much here which people would love to do. But how do you allow that to blossom? And I think a lot of that is happening today.
Yes.
There's no doubt about it. But the school system shouldn't kill that. People ask me that, look, my class people are not asking questions. Huh? How do I
Right.
make them curious?
Like, how can schools make it more experiential? If something you
Schools,
can add on that?
yeah. So schools, we started way back. I suppose in '86 we did a book, national level book called The Joy of Learning,
Okay.
and again it was entirely based on experiential learning, not necessarily covering contents. How do you get, for instance, a teacher to say, "I don't know," and it's okay. Let's find out together.
Right.
Because this thing about knowledge transfers, even in those days in the 80s, was something we said was not the most important. And today, when people can
my
Google
God.
something, it's even less important. So that information per se or knowledge is important. You should know how to handle it. But your ability to critically think around an issue,
Right.
your ability to say, okay, if these two things are happening, what solutions can we find? There is a overpass happening outside
Right.
AMA just now. Should the
Yeah.
trees be cut? Is there a solution which you can find? What are the solutions? Can we do something interesting under the overpass? For instance, at IIM, they've made a little children's library. What can AMA do? So how do we look at
Make people think,
opportunities? And
yeah.
there are always trade-offs. It's not so blank that you can only do this. Just as I was coming up, I was reading yesterday's papers that some train driver finds this elephant about to give birth near the track, and he stops the train for 2 hours, and only then passes. Now that is India in many ways, that there is a humanity. We are not disconnected totally
Yeah.
yet, but we will be if we don't take care.
Yes.
And so how do we connect back and learn that this is one system?
Correct. One of my initiatives that we are doing is animal welfare protection. So there we make artworks and a lot of animal-driven products from our artisans, and these are non-plastic products.
Yes.
They're dogs and cats. And we did an exhibition last month in Bougainville. Now we're planning in Bikaner House
Yeah.
and more. This is the first time an animal welfare exhibition is happening. You wouldn't believe. Not even one person saw the price tag. They are so much into animals and
Right.
saving them. So there's a beautiful vibe of humanity
Sure.
in humans, especially in India.
But
so,
we must not get so carried away to think that there's not
Yeah.
cruelty also.
Right.
You'll also find you'll also find
Yeah.
people throwing a stone at
Correct.
something or doing something. So I think the good part of India,
Yeah.
which is what you described just now, we have to sort of enhance those
Yes.
values. But there's also the negative
Yeah.
side of what we do,
yeah,
which we have to. So we were very concerned with violence. After this environment work, I know that anyone who goes through our course, for instance,
course which one?
we are running a number of
Right.
programs which we give to schools. So the schools do the programs, and over 200,000, 2 lakh schools across India.
Awesome.
So our material is brought out in over 15 languages.
Right.
And the latest book which we have done on plastics, for instance, the National Book Trust is going to bring it out in 46 or 47 Indian languages,
Wow.
beyond the 22 scheduled languages. So it's that vibrancy
Wow.
which is there,
Right.
and in different ways and in different things you're doing. So how do we communicate? We do know that anyone who reads this program will not throw waste. But how do I prevent people becoming violent, especially violent towards women and children?
Yeah.
So we were not sure, and we said, let us work on that. So we started a program called Learning Nonviolence. And
But sir, do you think someone who is actually violent would come and take up the cause
no, we are looking at children just now.
psychologically? Okay.
We are
Okay,
looking at
okay.
children, and what do we teach children so when they
Right.
grow up, they're less likely.
Yeah.
So there were different theories. One theory, for instance, is that if I know how to negotiate and speak,
Wow.
I'm
So
less
cool.
likely to be violent. Because if I'm angry, I will talk to you. But if I don't know how to speak, nobody's taught me those skills of negotiating, then the only thing I know
This
is
is so interesting.
catching on.
So true.
So it's not very direct.
Hmm.
We have one game where we put people in groups, and we drop some chocolates or something, sweets, and saying before we start you can use this. The number is never the same as the number of children. So
Right.
so the question is, what do they do with it?
Correct.
So what we found was that the girls, they would always discuss it. And she would say, "Bhai, this girl probably doesn't get it at home, or this one has done very well, so let her have the extra sweet, or I will not have it." In the case of boys, you found that they were just
Snatching, yeah.
grabbing first. So
Correct.
then when we asked them to explain, okay, what happened, how did you do it, they also understand,
Right.
okay, we perhaps should have done something different. So from the childhood, can you teach people skills of sharing, skills of negotiating, skills of learning different points of view, skills of what are those things which ultimately lead to violence?
Right.
So can I deal with those at the childhood level? This is a theory still.
Right.
That let us see how
Yeah.
these children are doing.
So
But we are monitoring it.
one of my centers that we are running is domestically abused women. That was my first initiative. So there, I think I would love to apply and
Yeah,
learn.
you should see it. We are doing this
from
with the
this.
Sabarmati Ashram,
Right.
with which I'm also, as you know, connected.
Correct.
So Sabarmati Ashram and C are jointly doing this project, and the government supported us to try it out in 300 schools.
Right.
So which is what we are doing.
And so I think truly everything aligns to behavior change.
Yeah.
Every conversation that we talk about. You have been advocating so many countries around indigenous solution for sustainability, for not just copying the Western model, but you were actually creating an Indian model which the world is copying. So, what are the top model that you love about your initiatives, and that Western model also can sort of take forward?
The fundamental difference, in some ways, that I would say, is that the whole Western economic model, at least
Right.
which developed, another model, was one of maximizing one value.
Come again?
So suppose you will say in a company that if you maximize shareholder value,
Okay, right.
then all the other things are taken care of.
Correct. Right.
That's the concept.
Yeah.
So you maximize one thing. If I take a much more easy example, I was speaking in a conference in Bangkok. So I'd gone the previous evening, and on the first floor, on the one side was the auditorium and things where I was going to speak. So to go up, I was trying to find the stairs. I couldn't. I took a lift. He said, "नहीं अभी change कर दे, अब सब lift में जाना है." Then I said, "Okay, let me now check out the gym." So when I went to the gym, he said, "Look, I bought this new equipment."
Right.
I said, "What's the new equipment?" He said, "It simulates how you walk up a stairs." So what you do is you first of all eliminate the stairs, then you create a machine to create the
Right.
stairs. So when you're thinking of exercise, you think of that.
Right.
And when you're thinking of this, you think how from sitting in my thing, I can put on the fan.
Yeah.
The even little getting up I was doing, I stopped doing. So that is what I call this
Right.
single thought. In India, we optimize. So we take 3 or 4 variables. It's not necessarily good only for this.
Correct.
So it is good because it does something
There's
for
no
this, something
disconnect,
else.
right?
So that
Yeah.
is that whole thinking
Right.
of several benefits coming from the same thing. Slowly people are recognizing this internationally, that this is a way of
Right.
Indians the way they think, but it is a different way of looking at things.
What would be an ideal sustainable Indian city look like for you?
For me, my feeling is that a large metropolis
Right.
needs to be also organized in terms of smaller areas, which combine to make the bigger areas. So, for instance, we are living, say, in Usmanpura or Shaibag or Maninagar or wherever it is. Each of these areas needs to have a governance model of its own.
Okay.
And for about 70-80% of my needs, I should be able to do it there. And that is all within walking distance. So I should have a little shopping center if it's there, maybe a mini theatre.
Like in
maybe
a community.
at the community level.
Right.
So I'm working in a sense like a village within the larger city. Now today, to some extent, the gated communities are doing that. That is for the higher end societies. But for others also, if you can have a city full of smaller, and then you have a very rapid way of connecting, which is
But
through
how will that help, sir?
It helps because first of all, it tremendously brings down the requirement of transport. You know, for everything, I don't need to sit in the vehicle.
It's more optimized.
It's optimized. My food is there. If whatever I need, I can buy certain things. And therefore, it works at a more humane scale. If you take the original Ahmedabad pole, the pole had something where you could not be anonymous. If someone came and they were not from this pole, I would ask you, wait, can I help you? Because I know you are from outside. So again, violence was very little at that time in that place. Theft was not there. But here what happened, so they were a gate, in today's language, they were gated communities in some ways. But poles were something which had a community structure. Also, people relate better. How do I make my place better? I have ownership. I want water better here. I want a little children's park. I don't want this tree to be cut. So, getting people to have democracy at a local level, which then adds up to the national state, the city and then the state level.
Correct. Beautiful point. Yeah.
So that's all we are trying this now.
Very true. So true. So also India has a strong history of repair and use. In terms of circular economy, how can we take it more forward?
Well, I think
globally?
we have to talk to many of our manufacturers. I mean, the old ambassador car, you used to have a person all over the place who would just take a hammer and set it right. In some of the newer cars, the only thing you can do is you have to take that part out, order a new one, put it there, and it's a huge amount of waste. So it's not a sustainable model at all. And for a country where we have such skilled people, if you see our, even the Ellis Bridge in Ahmedabad, apparently he had got all these fancy engineers and everyone, and they could not build it. This is 1880. They could not really build it. And then that engineer who was there, Deshi engineer, he said, "Saab, agar aap allow kare to I will do it." And he did it. So the point is, we have highly skilled people in this country, whether they were weavers or carpenters or engineers or various other professions. Now, these skills you are marginalizing because you are saying only the manufacturer will do those things. That also perhaps through robots. And then so first of all, it's bad, employment-wise it's bad. It's bad because of waste, huge amount of waste, something which could easily be repaired, you have to send back. India is also known for reusing things. So recycling, reusing, these are parts of it. I mean, you will hardly find textile waste. Even in Panipat, where they use textiles, waste to make fiber, mostly it's imported things which are coming because they say Indian log to fenkte hi nahi. They will make a pocha out of it finally, but they will not throw it away. So we are also trying just now to find ways in which school uniforms and school things get recycled. How to do that. So India is a culture basically which was, sustainability was very much part of it. After the Industrial Revolution, we have 250 years of the world where sustainability went out of the window and we find ourselves in a deep climate crisis, pollution crisis, biodiversity crisis. There is a triple crisis going on. To come back to it, we find that India has been an inspiration. And that's what is coming back. And our Prime Minister is very much talking about through Project Life and others. He is talking about that. He is talking about Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam and things. That Indian thinking basically was environmental thinking or ecological thinking. It's very much matched with the 2047 vision. And also matched with the 2047 vision.
So as you mentioned about climate, I think a lot of people around me as well, maybe in 20s, they want to get into solving climate issues. So, and they don't know where to start. So any, hack or tip or guidance for
Well,
anyone who want to get into climate or even sustainability,
there's a
social
lot which we can
entrepreneurship,
do.
right?
Um, Many years ago, in 2005, we were doing a project in Hyderabad,
Okay.
and they had heard about the footprint. The footprint basically represents how much we tread on the planet, how much we use, how much we
Right.
consume.
Correct.
And they children did the hand, and they said this is the handprint. So we said, what is the handprint?
Right.
The handprint is what we can do to save the environment.
Hmm.
So that project we globally launched in
Right.
2007. It's becoming a word which worldwide they are using now. But a concept that started with a little school, 10-year-old girls in St.
Oh
Mary's
my
School in
God.
Hyderabad,
Right.
and it's gone global. Very few Indian concepts go global like that.
Correct.
And it shows what you can do. So there's a long list of what you can do personally, through the community, through whatever you're doing, whichever business you are in. So it's too much to talk in this blog,
Right.
but do come to the Center for Environmental
Yes.
Education, and there's a lots of things. Anyone who wants to volunteer or come and do things,
Right. Yeah.
in
I'm
whatever
from-
profession,
Correct.
it can be done.
Right. So we move on to quick rapid fires. Apart from work, what are the other topics that could bring you joy or peace?
Cooking.
Okay.
I love cooking.
But that's again environment.
It's not environment. I just cook for taste. It's not as an environment thing.
Okay.
I like sports,
Okay.
cricket especially. Today
Right.
I'm looking forward to the match, which is about to
Yes.
start
Yeah.
any minute.
Okay. One word that describes a tree for you?
Describe a tree for me.
Yeah.
I'd say it's like a temple
Wow. Right.
for me. It gives you oxygen, it gives you shade, it gives you beauty. It's everything, and it's really inspirational.
Right. So my dad has done PhD in plant medicine, and he calls himself "I'm a tree." So, and his religion is now naturism.
Right.
So, yeah. So your favorite spot in nature?
Spot in nature.
Yeah.
There are lots of them. I mean, Indian nature in Indian places are just wonderful here. And
So with just one spot under a tree or I don't know something.
I like to be
River.
near a pond or near a like Nal Sarovar and all
Right,
these
it's
places
more
where
water-based. Okay.
shallow water, because you
Right.
attract a lot of birds. But I like a lot of different spots.
If Earth had a message for humans, what would that be?
Earth has a message. And that is
Love.
circularity. The Earth's
Right.
message
Yeah.
is that things are balanced. And the thing is that it's balanced without having a government. Nature works incredibly.
Beautiful.
That's the thing. So I would
Yeah.
say balance
Correct.
is the message.
That is such a beautiful point.
And you have to learn from that. There's
Correct.
no waste in nature. The one nature which does not have a word is no waste. In fact, in Gujarati, we were wondering what word to call that. And kacharo, we turned it around and said rochaka. So our project is called Rochak. Rochak
So
also means beautiful.
amazing, right.
But kacharo na nako, Rochak banao.
Correct.
It's a play of
So
words.
like you said, perception, right?
It's a perception.
Yeah, correct. So worst thing that you do every morning before sleeping?
What I do every morning
Yeah, when you wake up.
when I wake up.
Yeah.
Well, I like to, actually there's a pond there which attracts
Okay.
birds early in the
Right.
morning. So I do like to go there
Right.
and see it.
Right.
Yesterday I saw a small bird, I think it's a munia, I don't know what it is.
Correct.
It was very early in the morning, but I'm going to look at that, if I
Wow,
can,
Right.
and have a cup of coffee certainly.
Okay. So one quote you really turn to often.
One,
Quote or a message.
well, I would go to Gandhi, I was looking
Yeah.
at that book also, that be the change. Be the change.
Right.
That is, take what you're trying to change, try to internalize it and try to make that change happen. Gandhi's quote, which
Right.
is, the world has enough
Right.
for everyone's need, but for no one's greed.
Interesting.
It's a quote which
Beautiful.
Gandhi is perhaps read.
Wow. The Sarabhai legacy in one word.
I think to do things to your potential, to grow according to not what someone else asks you to do, but to grow the way you should grow.
Right.
And that's what I think from my grandfather and grandmother's days. Each of their children did very different things. And my grandmother used to say, I'm like a gardener. who does the seed which you plant. Some might be a chiku tree and some might be a tall one, some might be a
Beautiful.
short one. But
Wow.
how do I nurture
Yeah.
so that the inner strength of each individual comes out the best? I
Right.
think that is perhaps very key to the Sarabhai
The inner truth
thinking.
of ours, right?
Huh?
Yeah. The inner truth of ours.
Let people reach their potential.
Correct. Three values you hope India never loses.
I think the connection with nature,
Hmm.
uh, essentially not wasting, and diversity,
Hmm.
tolerance for different ways of doing things. I don't feel that I have to make you think the way I like.
Right.
I'm interested. कि भाई अच्छा, you cook this masoor dal, I don't. I cook
Right.
something else. And India is full of that diversity.
Yeah.
And any attempt to make it smaller would be
Right.
bad, I think.
Not to constrain.
No, I think the strength is, the Prime Minister just came back from the Northeast
Right.
and said exactly that your strength, our strength is that diversity. Diversity is not, that is India's strength. That is what India is all about.
And that can't even be taught, and we have it innate.
Yes.
How beautiful is that?
But and what AI is going to do,
Yeah.
I'm waiting for that.
Yeah.
Is that we can speak to anyone in India. I can speak in Gujarati and they can hear it in a Mizo language
Whatever
or something.
language, yes.
That is going to be possible.
Yeah.
In another 2 years, it will be possible.
Very much.
So it will be wonderful.
Yes.
That you can talk to anybody.
Right. So would you rather plant million trees or inspire a million minds?
Well, when you inspire a million minds, they will of course plant a million trees.
Yeah. Oh wow, paradoxical, but yeah.
So the two are not contradictory.
Right.
So, but I think that doesn't mean that just because I'm inspiring, I don't go and plant trees. I should plant trees. So it's not really a either or thing.
Okay. And so one innovation that really gives you hope.
One,
Innovation that gives you hope.
well, I would say AI just now is an innovation which gives world fear, lot of ethical issues, but also gives hope.
Right.
As I just said, one hope is that every Indian can talk. The other day, I and my wife Preeti and I were just sitting and talking about something, and our maid, who is illiterate,
Right.
is overhearing us. We are discussing some Mexican dish, and it says, "Saab, मैं बना दूँ?" So I said, how? She said, "I'll get my daughter to look it up on YouTube, and I'll make it."
Right.
Now that gives me a lot of hope
Wow.
that this is the power of something,
Absolutely.
that person is looking at the same things I am, the same aspirations,
Correct.
and we are able to do it.
Right.
So I think there's a lot of hope, and as we go towards 2047, we have to define what that 2047 is. What is that vision we have? And
So also I think, sir, coming from an environmental background, still pressing on the power of AI, that shows the power of your mind, because it's again contradictory, but
yeah, but
but the way you are looking at it is so beautiful.
How can we are setting up a new center
Yeah,
on
right.
AI in education.
Oh wow.
So,
Okay.
so just to see how we can positively use that
Correct.
technology is coming in anyway. I can either be afraid of
Yeah.
it, but how do we really use it? India's schools are full of children who need to catch up with their own class, because there's a huge difference. You have a 9th standard people who don't know how to read and write.
Yeah.
Maybe AI can help solve it. We're introducing new books today. The teachers are not trained. How will you train all these teachers in a short while? So we, I think, need to embrace. And I think going to Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, he saw technology not as a threat but as a tool,
Right.
and he used it in ways different from the way it was. So he didn't just say, "Hey, NASA ye kar rahi hai, so should we do that?" But saw how that tool could be wonderful for India. And I think that's how we have to think of things. Not be imitative, but be innovative.
Like
And
looking at the larger picture and see what are
yes,
tools
see
could work.
where we can use it,
fit
how
in,
we can
correct.
use it.
So I think you have achieved so much, and I'm sure you'll be doing gazillion more beautiful things. So what kept you going? Last message for the people.
What can we do? Well,
How can people be little like you?
no, everyone can be like me. Okay? It's just
A
that
small message
if one
for the
if one
youth.
follows
Yeah.
a certain passion and not look at work as just work,
Right.
Many people I know have dreams. Everyone just has
Yeah.
dreams, but they somehow feel that, look, it's not possible for me to achieve that dream or not something. That's it. I think if you just get up and say, look, I think I can do something. So some dreams I might have even today, the things I might have thought about it in my childhood, but I think, okay, now I've got the
Liberty.
means
Yeah.
to do it,
Right.
and an opportunity comes about. So I think, we have been given this wonderful planet where we have been born. And just think, all the planets we have seen, nowhere have we seen life. Nowhere have we seen atmosphere. Nowhere have we seen rain, water, nothing. Yeah? We are in a planet where all this exists, where some beautiful things are there. People are good. Nature is wonderful. We make the most of this life. Ne?
Correct.
I mean, where else can you be? Any other planet, you'll be ashes in a minute. Huh?
Right.
So I think let's live life
Right.
the way it is.
Make the best out of our lives.
Yes, what an opportunity it is to be here,
Yeah.
to be able to walk out.
Yeah. So anything else you
Okay.
want to add on with the last message, sir?
No, I think for if young people are watching, just try and articulate your dream. And I think as we go towards India being a developed country, the Prime Minister has given that call for development. We must really ask what development means, because we do not and cannot afford, the world cannot afford to be developed the way, say, America is or Japan or England is. So we have to cast our own development model. And I think we have to be confident to be able to do that. And I think that's the message, that help think, help dream, and help create that dream around you.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think I had a flavor of environment, passion, purpose, life, everything around what I love. And that's the future again. So, guys, I think it's going to be a great handbook for you and your life. And let's make green everywhere, environmental education, a course of life. And of course, like, so I ended with a note where make the best out of your life, because life we get is once. So, thank you again. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the time. And thank you, AMA.
Thank you.
Yes.